This is York County Connects, powered by Partners Bank, with 11 locations throughout southern Maine and Seacoast, New Hampshire. Partners Bank, the bank that listens.
Now, without them, we couldn't do this segment and talk about local politics. Coming up on Tuesday, it is Election Day, and your vote matters more than ever, especially when it comes to local politics. And leading up to the election, we have a number of different people who are running for city council. This morning, I have Peter Tranchemontagne, who is looking for his second term as a city councilor to Sanford. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, good morning, Uncle Pete, too. That's good to see you. So you're going for your second term. Local politics can be a little testy from time to time. You got your feet wet with your first term. What made you want to come back for more?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. I have so many projects going right now. I want to see them through. The fire stations were a historic vote that we got through. I was the chair on the fire station feasibility committee. Mm-hmm. And I guess they've been trying for 25 years to get, the fire stations replaced. And there was something called off-gassing when you come back from a fire. And there's carcinogens all over, like, all your stuff. There was no place to off-gas their equipment, their trucks, so they're breathing everything in. So the cancer rates were high. So there was a no-brainer that we needed these stations. The good thing about it is we also have we're going to have community paramedics now when these stations are in, which is if you have surgery, we've all been there, and you have to go back to the doctors to have your bandage changed. Well, the community paramedic knocks all that up. They'll come change your bandage. And that alone was amazing. So we're getting to 2 stations. We're going to have statewide now. There'll be paramedics for the community. And I think that's a good deal. Some of the projects that I have going on right now is the airport. After the fire station, we were successful getting those passed. And now we're going to, they asked me if I'd go to the airport, see what I could do there. And I love it. It's one of the best airports in the state. It's the busiest airport in the state. And I see no reason why we can't have commercial hopper flights out of there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because Sanford has had such a growth in the last couple of years, and you served on the city council for 3 years.
3 years. Yep.
And we've had a lot of people come into town, a lot of different things going on. Was there something that you thought to yourself within the first term of like, you know what, I really wish we could have finished the job on that one? Something that you're working on?
Yeah, so right now we're working at this moment to reallocate the lands at the airport. Like the shooting range, that is a non-aeronautical. That's a big deal. If we sold that land, we have to buy the same amount that's touching somewhere else. So we have the same amount because the government gave us the airport, I don't know, 40s or 50s. And so they can always come back in the national to use those.
Can we have a drag strip like we used to?
They won't let us.
No, you asked?
Because it's non-aeronautical. Of course I asked. I wanted that. So some of the things they are doing is they're going to have your CDL licenses there. There'll be a school there so that's a good, safe place. So some of the things are good. There's 4 new companies coming in there because we redid the roads coming into the airport. So we got 4 big companies coming in, more jobs.
That's great.
I'd like to see that go through. Rube's going to expand. The fishing games is buying the gun range. So now that's off the airport. It'll be non-aeronautical. And we can't let this go without saying fishing games and the Sanford Springville Fishing Games and Rube, the company, they bought all the land back there and they donated to the Sanford PD enough for a 100-yard range. Eventually, we're going to have a little conference center and storage area for all the PDs so we can have revenue coming in.
Wow.
And they'll have a really good, safe place to qualify and stay sharp and protect us. So that's a big deal just at the airport.
And that's just one thing.
That's just one thing, and I really want to see that go through. The problem I have right now with my first 3 years is in the springtime of my first year coming in, I got called in by Emily Salon, and those ladies are awesome, so I'm giving them a local shout out. They're great. they were horrified that there was a homeless encampment in the woods, and we found out it was on Sanford property, and had it cleaned up, $20,000 worth of cleanup for needles. And then they went across the street to another land that we weren't allowed on. And it was just mind-boggling that you go down and help them, and they're just waiting to die. And it's horrible, and you're helping with people, and then someone passes on that weekend. I had a hard time watching the needle exchange. It was like a zoo day at a college, and then you could see all the drug dealers going after each batch of kids, and they were kids getting needles, boxes of them. And, they would get a wound kit for all their open sores. And I have such a hard time with this harm reduction because this is the wrong way to go. It's 100% wrong way to go. And I'll give you a great example. There's this lady, Beth, and I will not use her last name. She was in my son and my daughter-in-law's wedding party. The life of the party. She got hurt, and she got addicted. And, everybody stayed away because she was really bad. Well, good friends of ours helped clean her up for 18 months. And she was getting skin grafts, and everybody, what are you getting skin grafts for? So these goddamn needles, okay? If you and I had to start an IV for ourselves for an emergency, we're messing it up, okay? These safe, clean needles, they break. The tips break. And then they get gangrene, and then you get, they lose
disease within your,
Yeah, they rot away. So these needles are not the answer to this. Handing out crack pipes are not the answer to this. There should be in treatment. That we should open up institutions for rehabs to save these people instead of watching them lay in the street just waiting to die.
Yeah, there's something to be said for being around people with the same problem you have to help you get better. And that doesn't happen just by sitting in the woods by yourself. That is with your community. And talk about developing communities. Pete Tranchemontagne is my guest this morning, running for his second term on the Sanford City Council. And one of the things that has been pretty controversial in the last 6 months in Sanford is the flock cameras.
Oh, my God.
And you guys reversed that decision last month. But tell me about the process of getting to that point.
So I was completely horrified when I read, because you get your emails and you know what's going to be talked about. And I was like, oh, this has no chance. This is a Fourth Amendment issue. It's a searchless warrant, okay? I'm a freedom of speech advocate. It's very dear to me. I've been doing this since 2011. Well, the amendments are very dear to me, and this is dancing on Amendment 4. And it's a searchless warrant. And I got the counter, well, the police have license plate readers. Well, that's different if they get behind you. They're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But up here, one of the problems I had is in 2015 and 16, I went all over the country to help legalize medical marijuana and legalize marijuana itself. It adds 10 years to your lifespan, mankind. I'm okay with that. I have a bad pancreas and liver. I need this with a spinal cord injury. And I didn't want to be a criminal because I knew I was having grandchildren. So it's time to legalize this, do the right thing, and not get arrested for any of this garbage. And it worked. It worked good. In 2016, it did pass the referendum, and we won. And then it took a year to get it through, and so it's legal. There's so much garbage now they got rid of residency clause for the medical marijuana caregivers, so the floodgates are coming in. We have triadads in here, which there's over 250, they told us, that came in through a nice real estate agent that's related to the Blaine House. And they flooded the market, and they use neurotoxins, some of them that we can't even test for. So I'd imagine that I would recommend you know your source, wherever you're getting it from, to make sure it's clean. So it's a mess. The cannabis industry is a mess, and I have a lot of work to do to fix it.
Well, that sounds like you have a lot going on. And one of the things I know that you're pretty proud of, and I don't know much about, so I don't think that I'm an uninformed citizen. I think I'm kind of like a lot of people who've heard Housing First, but I know it's close to you. Can you unpack that a little bit on what that means to our community?
Oh, my God, this is so important to the community. I went to school with a lady, Diane Small, excuse me, and she is the director of the Housing Authority of Sanford, but that's federal, that's state, that's county, and then city. So she doesn't answer to us. We go to her for help. And I was so horrified at the homeless encampment that wasn't on our property. And again, you're talking, probably 60,000 needles on the ground over there. And
someone's got to clean it up.
And you have ODs. Yeah. You got to have hazmat come down, and it comes out of taxpayers. So there's an issue. So I went to Diane, and I asked her what we can do. And she goes, well, we're not allowed on that property, but it was a zero value. So I figured out we could do the nasty, the eminent domain, and we did. And we sold that land to Housing Authority, and we used that money, non-taxpayers, to clean that up and have hazmat come down and make it safe. And we're going to put a Housing First model. And what that means is the fund was there to buy the land, to now start putting a 30-unit Housing First model. So you could be out here, passed out, you have an issue. Well, that's not going to go away if you just arrest them. But if you put them in some sort of roof housing, they're homeless because they're addicted. Let's start there. And when we do that with 24/7 care, getting into treatments or jail. So we can't arrest our way out of this, but we can definitely give options to save people, help them save themselves. So this is record-breaking Housing First model, 30 units. Portland loved it so much because they have a homeless community that is way out of line. I don't agree with their policies at all. But they saw us starting this Housing First. They have one built already. They beat us because it's a beautiful method, and they have 4 more coming. So there is a way to help the people that cannot help themselves. So everybody out there, please remember, when you see somebody staggering down the road or open drug abuse, and you're like, why isn't the cops getting them? Well, there's a whole bunch of laws at the State House. So I had enough of it. I asked on public and city council, I asked our city manager, Steve Buck, to find out what our powers are under the Home Run Rule Authority versus the state of Maine versus the federal government. Because President Trump reclassified homeless as you and I, hardship. It could just happen. You don't need to be arrested sitting on a step somewhere because you're shell-shocked. You don't know what to do.
Right.
You do not need to be arrested for that, and there's programs to help you. However, the addicted, they're refusing help, and they can't take care of themselves. You watch them slowly die off. I'm not okay with that. So I'm a big advocate of this Housing First model. I never thought I would be. And this is the way to save lives. And we can shut down all the encampments, and they can go all their separate ways, the ones that refuse housing. We had 200 in that encampment, and we got 100, and I believe 80 housed, and 20 refused, And a lot of that's mental illness. They got people with the signs in the corners that's not safe for them to be in traffic. Well, there's something with I believe the Mills administration, and we can't really do much. So we just passed our own resolution in Sanford because we have the power to do that.
So this is where your local vote really matters, because the people that you empower to do these jobs can make the decision on a local basis more than, say, something that's fed to us nationally.
Right. Well, this one was statewide. This homeless protocol is a failed protocol.
State or national, bigger brother.
This is all state.
Yep.
So we're sitting here looking at it in our beautiful city, and it is a beautiful city, and we got 50 people. We had 14 trucked in here from a nonprofit organization. We don't know who because we didn't catch them. And they were straight addicts, and that's what was at the old stairs going down in the Midtown Mall. They didn't know what to do. They can't think for themselves. It is sad. Yeah. So we had to change something. So we took on the state, go through the feds, and now we have the power to put a resolution in. And Senator Matthew Harrington just sent a letter of support for our resolution, and that's huge. That happened yesterday.
That's neat, man.
I actually called him and thanked him for the support because he understands the hell that we're trying to go through just to protect the citizens. We have children calling. My grandson called me from the bus, and he has a phone he's not supposed to use. He called me. They're at the lights by the House of Pizza, Some people were crawling in and out of there, and they're shooting up, and he could see it.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
So we do have a lot of problems in Sanford. We got a beautiful city, as you said. Pete Tranchemontagne is running for his second term on city council. What's your favorite part of Sanford? Let's end on a positive note. Something that you love about this place.
So I thank you. I love Cobb Stadium. They just finished the 6th grade Pee Wee football league, and that stadium's a mess. And we had to pull the seating out of there. And so now we have funding. We sold the old Lafayette School, and we took $11,000, and this is so interesting. There's actually a company that studies stadiums. And, boy, that's a stutter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Study stadiums. But they really do that. We paid $11,000. City Council approved the funding because we wanted – this is the heartbeat of everybody that went to Sanford.
Yeah.
And we can do better than this. There was no safe place. I wouldn't have given occupancy this year for that. And I let that known. So now we took $80,000 from the Lafayette sales, put it in a set-aside fund, met with all the big organizations and SSYA, and this will be not any price to the taxpayers. I refuse to hit the taxpayers. We're going to redo Cobb Stadium. There'll be a playground down there where the old track and field was at the very end. And then we're going to rip up the track, do pea stones there, so it's part of the Trail Association, so you can time yourselves on a quarter mile. And we're also going to put stadium seating in, year-round bathrooms, handicap accessible, because you can't get through there with the pea stones. It's just not right. So we're going to have big events. We're going to have a screen and movie theater come in. So we'll have community events, and that's what I'm all about.
I love it. Giving people a reason to raise a family in our community and stick around and contribute to the economy and just have a good time and a good life here. So that's what we're trying to do. Running for city council second term, Pete Tranchemontagne, my guest here on Your County Connects. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, and please get out and vote. Even if it's not for me, please get out and vote because there is so many issues that are dear to all of us. So thank you.